You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. Outsource Accelerator, the world's leading outsourcing marketplace and advisory, has released their inaugural Outsourcing Impact Review for 2023. Over 60 companies were analyzed to assess the outsourcing industry's positive impact in areas like education, community building, diversity, and health. Here to discuss the results of that report, we have with us on the show Derek Gallimore, founder and CEO of Outsource Accelerator. Derek, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Diego. Thanks so much for having me.
Yes, great. Let's get right to it, Derek. Let's first talk about the overall champion instant teams. Now, can you tell us more about their initiatives?
Absolutely. So the nominations we had covered 61 companies. The winning company actually comes from the US, and they are called Instant Teams.
Okay.
And they actually support military wives and spouses for getting work while they are traveling across different bases.
Okay.
So they had a really interesting mission, we found.
Yes, you said nominations. Now, I just like to, for the benefit of our viewers, who sent in the nominations?
Anyone can nominate anyone, and we're trying to get as many people to participate as possible. Look, fundamentally, what we're trying to do here is record all of the incredible activity that's done across the outsourcing industry. And there is so much positive contribution towards the broader community as a result of outsourcing. And the OIR, the report, is really about cataloging all of this activity. So we welcome as many nominations as possible.
Yeah, and all in all, you had 12 awardees under 4 categories, if I'm correct. Now, can you tell us more, Derek, about some of the most notable winners, the standouts?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we broke the categories down into the community building, education, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and health and wellness. So we have had 41% of entries focused on community building, 26% focused on education initiatives, 21% on the DEI, and only 11.5% on health and wellness. So we have some really interesting initiatives, just super quick. Community building, we had SourceFit with Carbon Footprint Initiative. We had Simply Contact with the Ukraine Contact Center Initiative. And what are we also looking at? With education, there were quite a lot of academies, such as Claro with their long-running academy that's been going years and years now. Arcanis also has their Early Learning Foundation. And also from Africa, we have Cradle, which is spelled CRDLE.
Okay.
They have a mission to create 10,000 jobs in Africa by helping African youth access the global talent economy. So really incredible initiatives all around. And we're seeing a lot of global initiatives as well, all contributing to this incredible thing that is the outsourcing industry.
Yeah, aside from all these things you mentioned, and out of all these 60 companies analyzed for the review, what other areas of society were they mainly involved in for the social causes? Could you break that down for us?
Yeah, so the report, we wanted it to have a very strong methodology so that we could objectively assess all of the contributions and compile them so that we can kind of end up with a dollar amount, to be a little bit sort of brutal, but and so that we can have an objective perspective of exactly the contributions that we're doing. To help build this methodology, we relied on the UN's 6 Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, which are sort of a known methodology. And, we used this along with a panel of experts to basically assess each of the nominations. In total, we found that there were 707,000 beneficiaries as a result of all of this positive activity, and there were 48,000 volunteer hours logged. So really, really impressive. And again, it just goes to show the incredible activity that is being done within outsourcing.
Yeah, but for a better picture for our viewers, can you describe to us just how substantial is the sector's contributions for these sources, especially in terms of funding and beneficiaries reached?
Yeah, look, outsourcing itself contributes about 25 billion to the Philippine economy. It contributes 8 to 10% to the GDP. It is the single biggest sector outside of OFW remittances. So there is incredible direct impact. And I think the Philippines has seen the incredible positive impact. It's helped build the middle class in the Philippines. It's helped bring affluence not only to Manila, but also to a lot of the provincial towns. So, but also beyond the initial staff, you also see that there is about a 3-to-1 or 5-to-1 ratio of the outsourcing industry positively impacting the communities, whether it's buildings and restaurants and things like that. So there's a huge amount of distributed positive impact. On top of that, you also have these outsourcing firms going beyond what is actually necessary and participating in these outreach activities, and really sort of driving hard to work with their communities and benefit the communities. So this is what we wanted to log as well.
Well, we're talking about all the good impact that the BPOs have on society and our people. But how about what is the public's perception on the industry's impact on society? We understand you also conducted a survey on this.
Look, it's very mixed. I tend to find everyone within outsourcing realizes that it's such a positive force, and it brings affluence to people where previously they didn't have a lot of opportunity. And it's a fantastic industry. People outside of the industry, though, especially if they're sitting in the UK or US, it's one of the most controversial, polarizing industries that there is in the world. We do a lot of outreach. Of course, we advertise Philippine outsourcing across the world, and people hit back and they say outsourcing is unethical. Outsourcing is slave labor. They say you're traitors for promoting outsourcing. So it's highly polarized. And we wanted to create this OIR, the report, to have material catalog of all of the good that outsourcing is contributing to the world, so that we can objectively show people all the good that is happening here, and it's not just stories.
And what should be done to dispel this notion of that outsourcing is slave labor? Are there areas for improvement, if any? And what do you think your growth outlook would be for the global outsourcing industry, at least in the next few years?
Yeah, on balance, I think the outsourcing industry does an incredible job of looking after its people. Fundamentally, outsourcing is a people game. So, if you don't look after your people, you don't actually have much. So on balance, I think the industry does an incredible job. There are fantastic facilities and ping pong tables and, Christmas parties and free food, like breakfast, lunch and dinner. They do generally very, very well. Now, of course, people can always improve, and there are outliers as well. So there's always the incentive to improve the situation across the board. The future for outsourcing, oh my gosh, it is so bright. I believe in 20 years, there's about another 40 million jobs that are going to be offshored. Okay. There are currently only about 1.5 million people employed in the formal outsourcing industry in the Philippines today. And I believe that there are about another 40 million about to come offshore. And that is as a result of the convergence of globalization and then the technological interface that people are all integrating with today in their lives and businesses, which is obviously their mobile phones and their computers, and all of the technology, chat apps and things like that.
There's no doubt, Derek, that outsourcing provides a lot of opportunities for Filipinos. But I think there is a fear from a lot of Filipinos that it may not be here for the long run. That the outsourcing industries may find a cheaper place to get labor, a better place to get labor. And there's that fear that if they invest themselves too long in a certain company, that they may end up just high and dry in the future. What do you say to that, Derek?
Yeah, look, like any industry, it's getting increasingly competitive. The Philippines can never rest on its laurels. It is doing really fantastic. It would be considered one of the world leaders of outsourcing alongside India, but it cannot rest on its laurels. Almost every emerging country has seen the positive impact that outsourcing has had on the Philippines and India, and they all want to follow suit. They are all clamoring now to get into the outsourcing industry. And it is super important that the Philippines and every single Filipino work to be competitive and work to have highly capable, qualified, and committed staff and workforce. Because it's really the people that make this the asset that it is. So, look, I think that the Philippines has a very bright future, but it cannot take this incredible golden goose for granted.
Last question, Derek. What do you think the impact of AI would have for the outsourcing industry?
Look, fundamentally, AI will have an impact on the high repetition, simple roles. So a lot of the call centers might be undermined by the AI functions. However, outsourcing is moving more towards a staff augmentation model, and that really emulates broader employment. And in that respect, I don't believe that AI threatens broader employment really at this stage at all. I believe as AI solves many issues, many roles, many functions, then human creativity will just come up with a ton more problems to focus on and solve. Okay, so I don't think that, certainly in the medium term, that there will be any threat to high caliber roles within employment.
Well, that's good to hear, and thank you very much for joining us, Derek Gallimore, founder and CEO of Outsource Accelerator. Good morning.
Thanks.